Alright YouTube, how's it going? Buster here, Sunday video. Did a video yesterday on the co-op cobble. I was keeping this for the day. This video is about the difference between flatwounds and roundwounds on your bass. In my opinion, anyway. The two basses that I'm using are pretty much the same. Same manufacturer, same body type. I done a video on these before about the roasted maple necks. Well, while I was sorting these basses out to do this video, I took the neck off and stuff like that and gave it a clean. And what I did was, at the heel of the neck, I scraped off a bit of the finish to see if it was just painted roasted maple, so it was painted to look like roasted maple, or it was a roasted maple neck. And it is a roasted maple neck, so when I scrape the lacquer off you can actually see it. You can see the difference. Maple's kind of a kind of pale wood, kind of the same idea as pine, that kind of colour. But when it's roasted it goes a kind of golden colour, and this is a roasted maple neck. So the other bass I'm going to use is another Jim Deacon P bass. And as in my video that I did before about the Jim Deacon P basses, if you can get a hold of one of these are far better than a Fender Squier bass. Far better. Build quality is a bit on par with like a Squier vibe. It's unbelievable. You get different versions of this, because this is an early one. This is an early Jim Deacon. The later Jim Deacons, then it became Deacon. They seem to be, the quality of build dropped. So this is like kind of one of the first Jim Deacons, or an early one at least. You don't really see them like this anymore, with the same colour body, with the headstock the same colour. And Fender, was it last year, the year before, actually re-released their kind of version of this, and when this is sitting and people kind of walk into my room, they instantly think this is a Fender. It's the same, I think they use the same colour paint, to be honest with you. So the difference between flatwounds and roundwounds. Roundwounds are really bright, really bright sounding, whereas flatwounds are more a kind of deep bassy sound off them. The best way to utilise flatwounds, there's a lot of people put flatwounds on their P basses, but the other way to use it is to use it on a fretless bass. I had, probably a couple of years ago now, I had a P bass, fretless P bass with ebony fretboard. I had flatwounds on it, and it sounds like an upright bass. I'm just going to take a wee drink of coffee. It sounded like an upright bass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the same riff on this, and then play the same riff on the normal P bass with the roundwounds. Differences between the basses are not a lot. This one's got a Fender high mass bridge that I put on it. This was on my Kingdom, and I decided I wanted it on this. So this has got a high mass bridge, and I might end up getting a high mass bridge for that. The P bass pickups are the exact same pickups in both guitars. They both came out of a Fender P bass. I think it was a 98. I actually took, this is why it took me so long to do this, because I was trying to find the same year of pickups as for both guitars, and I got these ones not long ago. So this has got Fender P bass. It came out a 98 P bass, and that's the exact same. The caps are the same on each tone control, exactly the same caps, same pots. The knobs are different for some reason, I don't know why, but the knobs are different. I think I changed these are proper P bass knobs, these ones. The other ones with the standard Jim Deacon ones on it. Yeah, so that's the only difference. Body's exactly the same. Both have got roasted maple necks which I think I said before it started the video. I've had it off and I scraped it. It is a proper roasted maple neck on both guitars. Same rosewood fretboard. The guitars are pretty much the same year. They're pretty much the same year as Jim Deacon. Machine heads are the same. I've not changed the machine heads on these at all. They're pretty much set the same. So the string height for the frets are exactly the same. I think what else are the same. So the only differences is colour. This has got a Fender high mass bridge on it, and the nut width is different. That's a proper P-bass nut width. This is a kind of in between. This is a bit in between a P-bass and a jazz bass, because when you measure my jazz bass neck, it's 1mm thinner than this, and this is 1mm thinner than that. So that's a 43mm nut, this is a 42, and that's a 41mm nut. I think 41mm nut is about the right for a jazz bass. So I'll play a riff on this and then play the same riff on that, as close to it as I can get. So it's going through the BH250, through the 4x12, there's no effects on it, so tone pinch turned off, volumes are the exact same. That's it. So I'll play a wee riff on this. So I'll play my niece's favourite song that she likes me playing. I used to play this on the fretless. Because I've been playing bass for a long time, and the way I used to play bass was a kind of mix between plucking and fingerstyle, and I'm trying to get out of that. I'm trying to do a lot more fingerstyle and a lot more slap. The way I used to play before, I'll do it on this one so I don't make as many mistakes. So this is the P-Bass Aqua Flatwounds on this Jim Deacon. I'll just turn my volume down when I pull this jack out. I'll turn it back up to the exact same level. I've got it kind of marked and I know that where the level is. So that's the Aqua one. And this is the Jim Deacon just standard P-Bass. So all this is the same P-Bass. The exact same P-Bass. As the low differences is the thickness of the nut. Fretboards, the exact same material. It's got a roasted maple neck. As I said, it is a proper roasted maple neck. I have checked it out. The exact same 98 P-Bass pickups. Exact same tone cap. Volume pots are the same. Everything. This is no difference. Is this has got a standard bridge on it. That doesn't really make a difference, to be honest with you. Intonation and stuff it does, but these are all intonated exactly properly. Same machine heads, same material wood. So this is the same riff but with roundwounds on it. So these have got RS66s on it. So I'll play the same riff. A lot brighter. So that is the slight differences between flatwound and roundwound. The good thing about having different strings on your guitar is then you can make the excuses why you need so many. That's my excuse. So I've got two P-basses that are pretty much the same, and one's got roundwounds, one's got flatwounds on it. It's just for a different sound. The resonance of the strings are different when you do slap. You still slap, but you don't get as much ring. The string doesn't ring out as much. It's more like a kind of dead. It's like having. It's weird. It's like kind of having dead strings on your guitar, but no. Do you know what I mean? Because you get the string rings out longer on Roundwounds, but you get a really deep sound for the Flatwounds. It's really cool. What I would suggest doing is you don't have to have two guitars. Well, obviously the more guitars you have the better, hence why I've got this one. Bass guitars, one is never enough. My daughter got this for my Christmas. Pretty suited to me. So you don't have to have, but what you can do is, if you get Roundwounds the same gauge as your Flatwounds, you might need to do a wee bit of adjusting depending on the tension, because it's less tension with Flatwounds on your fretboard. So the tension is different. So I didn't have to do much setup of this one, because what I did is that's why I go for Olympias, because I found a Olympia. I could have went for Roto Sound Flatwounds, but I would need to totally reset up my guitar for the string. I've had Olympias before, so I know with Olympias, if I've got Roto Sounds on one guitar, if I take the Roto Sounds off and put the Olympias on, it doesn't affect the setup of the guitar. And I think it's down to tension, because I think these Roto Sounds, so the bass strings are 105, and on the Flatwounds it's a 100. So it's obviously the gauge of the strings as well. So it's like one step down gauge on the Flatwounds. So there's no as much tension. If I put on 105 Flatwounds, I would probably need to readjust the neck. So that's how I've worked it out. So I can realistically take these Flatwounds off and put Roto Sounds back on, and when I don't need to do much to the setup of the guitar would be pretty much set up. You do need to set up your guitar every wee while just to get it bedded in, but generally once you've set your guitar up and you keep the same gauge of strings on all the time, you don't really need to do a full setup again, because your bridge would be intonated to the strings, and then obviously going to the curvature of the fretboard and the same tension. So you don't have to set up every time you change strings. So once you set it up, it should be fine. So yeah, so that's the kind of difference between Flatwounds. I say these are really good guitars. If you ever get a chance of these, I'd pick it up. These are definitely in par with like a Squire vibe. If I had the choice, if somebody asked me if I was the choice, I couldn't get a proper Fender bass, or even a Mexican. If I was to choose between one of these and a Squire vibe, with their top of the range Squires, I would pick one of these every day of the week. If this was my bridge between a bass that I could afford and getting a Fender P-bass, this would be the guitar I'd pick one of these Jim Deacons, 100%. I've played loads of it. I've got a Squire P-bass and I barely touch it. I play these all the time when I'm using P-bass. I've got a Squire PJ, they call it the Affinity Series. It's PJ configuration. All I use that for is my famous catchphrase that Malky likes, my Duff stuff. I play my Duff stuff on that because it is as close to I'm going to get to a Duff guitar. It is a Squire Affinity, but I've done a lot of mods to it. I've got black high mass bridge on it, you've seen it, I've done a video on it. Pickups and all kind of, and it's all set up to do Duff stuff. I might get t-shirts made up with that, because I'm going to claim that is mine. It's only me that uses that Duff stuff thing. Keep making Malky laugh when he hears that. So yeah, that's the difference. So I'm going to play the aqua one again. But as I said, if I was to choose between one of these and a Fender, a Squire vibe, I would pick one of these every day of the week. Really good material. It's a 2-piece body, solid wood. If you don't know much about how you build guitars, normally the book match, it's called book matching. I did a course in Annie's College when I first came out of the army, guitar making and repair. And that's kind of how they taught you, was rather than using one solid piece of wood. It doesn't mean, I mean, the whole point of doing the book matching is mainly for acoustic guitars, is for strength and for the fact that when you look at the front of the guitar, you get that kind of midpoint where it, why it's called book matching. When you open it up, it looks exactly the same either side. Comes to the same same block of wood. You just basically cut it and then flip it open, and you chamfer the edges and join it together and go. Don't know, we ramble there. But these both are 2-piece bodies. So if you took the paint off, you would see that the line where the wood was joined. And basically what they've done is they took a block of wood, cut it in half, open it up, and it's called book matching. And then that's how we've made the guitars. And both are exactly the same, because when you take the neck off and you look, and you can actually see the joint all the way down. You glue it together, cut the shape out, shape it, and then put the neck on. That's it. Rudimentary way how to do it, but that's normally how. But book matching is mainly for acoustics. That's what it was for. But then people have started to book match. If you look at Spectres are a really good example, because they've got the high-end Spectres, that is, they've got a straight through neck, and what they do is they take a block of wood, cut it in half, book match it, and then stick it to the sides of the straight through body, and that's how you get that. And then they cap it off with a full piece of maple. But yeah, that's how it is. This is a 2-piece body, and you get, I think, my jazz bass is a 3-piece body, but that's a weird one. I'll maybe do another video with it. But yeah, this is Flatwounds again. I'll do the same wee riffs just so you know, exact same setup. So you hear, I've played it before. You can hear the difference. There is a difference in it. It's nice. You can get. You get a different sound, but it's always worth trying. But there's always a big thing online and stuff about the difference between roundwounds and flatwounds. Like, all flatwounds came first. Roundwounds was later on. Flatwounds came first, because that's how they make double bass strings, is flatwounds. So that's what was originally on a P bass, so these flatwound strings, because all they did was take the strings off an upright bass and then stick it on an electric bass, Fender's P bass. So yeah, it's just a different sound. It's no right or wrong, it's just what you want, that sort of, it's just what you prefer. I've got the luxury of the fact that I've got 2 guitars that are pretty much identical. Pretty much, there's slight differences in them, pretty much identical, and I can then have one with flatwounds and then one with roundwounds. It just depends on what I'm playing. But 90% of everything that plays bass is normally roundwounds. But it's nice to have a wee different sound. And this is, I thought I'd put roundwounds on this. This is a lovely guitar, I love this. I got this for a steal. I'll go through the story again of how I got it. I basically had a spare, I bought, you'll see my Laney, I've got a Laney RB4. Before that I had an old had it for years, a 1980 ohms, I think it was ohms, bass graphics, 80 watt, an old amp. And then I bought the RB4 to obviously upgrade my amp. I bought the RB4 because you put an extension cab on it and then it becomes, so it's that's a 164 watt amp on its own, the RB4. And then if you add the extension cab on it, it becomes a 300 watt amp. So I've showed my setup of that before. Basically I've got two cabinets exactly the same. One's out for an RB4, one's for an R4. When I bought the R4, the amp was knackered. I ended up ripping the amp with it, dropped a hole through the back and put a connector on it, and then that's how I've got a stack. That's how I've got the Laney combo that I've got. So when I got that, I decided that I didn't really want the graphics anymore, and rather than just sell it, I've just kept my eye out, and somebody had put this up saying they wanted to swap this for an amp. So I phoned them up and then swapped it for the graphics. I think it's the best thing I did. I love this guitar. I don't know I'll ever get rid of this guitar. Love it. Build quality is amazing in this. Amazing. I've played Squire Vibes. This is much better Squire. It's definitely better than just the bog standard. I mean, this is an older Affinity, this one. This is an older Affinity. This is good quality. The Affinities don't know made like this anymore. But this is a good quality Affinity. And even this is better than that. Much better. This is made up like, the body of these are made up like chopping blocks. So it's like these strips of wood all glued together, then they cut the body out. So if you ever strip one of these, it would be like patchwork wood. That's what I was going to strip this, but I'm going to bother. That's going to be made my Billy Sheen bass. I'm going to stick a neck pickup in it, like a hot rod or something. But no, definitely, you get a chance of one of these, definitely get it. The best way to know you're getting one of these is the flame maple neck. You get ones that have not got flame. My mate's got one, my mate's got a sunburst one that's not got a flame maple neck. It is a good quality guitar, but this is much better. It just seems to spend a lot more time. The dots in it are amazing because it looks like the old style dots, like the clay dots that Fender put in. It actually looks like clay dots. It's no clay dots, but it looks like clay. The other one's exactly the same. It's got the kind of clay looking dots. Lovely guitars. So anyway, I've rambled on enough today. So yeah, that was the difference between Roundwounds and Flatwounds. As I said, give it a bash, see if you like them. They're not for everybody. I'm just lucky the fact I've got two guitars that are the same, that I can afford to put Roundwounds and Flatwounds on one each. I'm going to get another, I think I'm going to get another high mass bridge for that. Because the weight setup's nice and I like the high mass bridge, so I might get a proper Fender high mass bridge for that, so they're near enough the same. So yeah, hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Happy days, rock on. Remember, play your duff stuff.